What's going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel, and if you guys are new, welcome. Today we are taking you through the Stasis Warlock Legendary Onslaught build. You can go through normal as well, obviously, but this will carry you easily through that legendary version as long as you got some competent teammates to help you out with the wave clear potential. But this will freeze everything. You're gonna have those stasis turrets up consistently, plus with the super, very good at the ad management side of things, a little less on the damage, but it is a great support build in my opinion, with that freeze keeping everything at bay. So for our Cold Snap, our Osmiomancy perk is Fervid Cold Snap. Your Cold Snap grenades have an additional charge that recharge quicker on direct impact. The Seeker spawned from the Cold Snap also travels further, so these Cold Snaps are disgusting in themselves, but we are using them for that quick regen. So we're going to use the first one to throw out a turret. The second one we're going to use to get some direct impact, so we get that really fast recharge rate, allowing us to throw out another turret, and then you just rinse and repeat like that. Use the first one for the turret, the second one to get back the first one that you threw out, and then it's just a rinse and repeat. Now, as for mods as well as the stats we are going with, down here we got our 100 in resilience, 100 recovery, 100 discipline. This helps us to stay alive, have our rift up all the time, and get our health back quicker with having that cold snap up even more often. With at 100 discipline comes back at a minute by itself, but with everything else you will see we are getting it back instantly with this build. First off, we got that thermodynamic siphon, so rapid solar weapon final blows or rapid stasis final blows help us to create those orbs of power, which we are using for our armor charge as well as just getting our super. We're going to be using heavy ammo finder on this because with the options I was using weapon wise, wasn't using any type of special ammo, so heavy, very important for the ad clear and boss DPS. Momentum transfer right here, causing damage with our grenades, give us our melee back. Super nice since we're causing damage with our grenades consistently with this build. On top of that, we're also causing damage with our melee, gives us our grenade back, so these kind of feed right off of each other. Impact induction and momentum transfer, with finally we get our class ability back a little bit faster when causing damage with those grenades. So internal feedback loop for the spam of our grenade, melee, and our rift. Now for Midtown, for me, most of the time I'm going with solar and arc resistance, just because seems like the most. If you're getting ogres, you could throw on void, so I was switching this on and off at least for the solar, but with everything, definitely totally up to you. Whatever onslaught is thrown at you most, throw that on. Now for our legs and our class item, we got that time dilation with stasis weapon surge for our kinetic as well as our heavy, giving us that 17% with two of these. Then all that armor charge that we're getting from the orbs of power we are creating with that thermodynamic siphon. We're going to use it to have this up a little bit longer for that 17% damage with double bomber on, so when we do throw down our rift, we're going to get a nice little chunk of our grenade back, allowing us to proc it even more often. Like I said, throwing out cold snaps consistently and those stasis turrets. Now, when we move on to our weapon options, I was really liking the combo that I had right here of the Traveler's Chosen with Gift of the Traveler and Osmiomancy on it. So each stack of Gathering Light improves this weapon's reload, handling, and target acquisition. Now, on top of that, the Gathering Light down here, Final Blows stack Gathering Light can go up to ×10. When you consume that stack, it grants you melee, grenade, and class ability energy. So this allows us to have our grenade up even more often, plus with the ability that it has on it in its catalyst, throwing out our grenade, which we are doing consistently with this build, changes the damage type of this weapon to whatever our subclass is, so this becomes a stasis weapon, so it's getting that 17% increase from the weapon search, as well as helping us to create even more orbs of power. So this thing is goated in my opinion, very good for the ability spam side of this this build. Now, I was going with the adhortative right here with that pulse rifle to be able to stun our unstoppable champions, or our overload I should say. With the heal clip incandescent on it, we're able to spread a bunch of scorch plus the stasis, so the ad clear potential of this goes even higher. Plus we're getting that nice restoration cure from the heal clip side of things as well. Now for heavies, I went with two different sides of this. First was the Quillum's Terminus. This has unrelenting killing tally for that boss spec, doing a little bit more of the damage side. So when we are in that boss room clearing out enemies, or some of these stronger or yellow orange bar enemies that we had like Tormentors, it was very good for that. But when it was just the ad clear side of things, Envious Assassin Chain Reaction on this dimensional hypocoid, it is crazy with that wave frame that they have for the heavies. They changed it to make them way better, and I love having about 12 inside of the magazine with chain reaction. This thing as an ad clear menace, but like I said, totally up to whatever part of Onslaught you are in. Now as for our Queen's foil sensor right here, we're going to be using that piercing sidearm as well as our overload pulse with our flame fiber and freeze. On top of that, solar precision final blows or rapid defeats with that solar weapon grant us radiant. We will also be able to apply scorch to unscorched combatants because of this with kindling trigger, flint striker, torch right here. While radiant, we deal increased damage to those combatants affected by strand or stasis. With this, obviously stasis debuff is being spread around consistently with that slow and freeze from our cold snap grenades and our stasis turrets. On top of that right here, we are going to be using Pillar of Ice as well as a Hailstorm. Shattering those frozen stasis targets or crystals have increased damage, and it releases some of that ice damage and also slows targets. With Pillar of Ice, defeating the frozen target spawns stasis crystals, so they play off of each other very well. Last but not least, that Raise of Precision. While we're radiant from over here with Flint Striker, those solar precision final blows cause targets to ignite. So with our pulse rifle that we have on, it's going to create that ability to scorch as well as cause ignitions, plus all the stasis freeze we have going on. So in addition to all of that we get from the artifact with radiant, all the scorch, everything like that, we're going to be using our Winter's Wraith, of course, with our freeze to have the ad clear potential. I can throw out about 2 of the melees and then do the big explosion, which wipes out most of the ads. Plus we're getting all that chaining of the seekers together. We're going to have Healing Rift with Balance Glide and our Penumbral Blast, and then obviously our Cold Snap Grenade right here, so we can pair it with our Osmiomancy gloves. Now we're going to be using Ice Flare Bolts, so shattering a stasis crystal spawns seekers that track and freeze to nearby targets. This pairs well with the Osmiomancy to make them even better with going out on that distance. On top of that, we're going to be using Bleak Watcher, so press and hold that grenade to make us our Stasis Turret that slows firing projectiles at the enemies. Like I said, with this build and Osmiomancy, we're going to use our first grenade that we have to throw out a turret. The second grenade, we're going to use the Osmiomancy perk by getting those direct hits, freezing targets, which will give us that second grenade that we just threw out for our turret right back basically. Then we can throw out another turret, so you are going to be scattering these turrets around all over the place. As for our fragments, we got Whisper of Chains. While you are near a frozen target or friendly stasis crystal, we take reduced damage. Very good at staying alive. We're going to be producing these everywhere with this build. Whisper of Refraction, defeating that slowed or frozen target gives us our class ability back. Love having that just to stay alive even a little bit better. On top of that, we're going to be using a Shattering a stasis crystal, temporarily boost your grenade recharge rate. Shattering that crystal increases the duration of this benefit, so getting our grenade, our cold snap back even faster with this Whisper of Shards as well. And last but not least, we gain energy for our grenade each time we take damage, allowing us again to have our cold snap back even quicker. So with everything between the Osmiomancy perk, our fragments, our aspects, as well as our mods on our armor, we're going to have our cold snap back almost instantly up at all times, unless we just throw out a bunch of turrets and it's in between waves, that sort of situation obviously. But you're going to be able to use a bunch of these turrets consistently. Use your super, like I said, to ad clear mostly, not nearly as good for the DPS side compared to other things that we have obviously, but it is a great ad management build and keeping everything at bay in the boss room, as well as wave to wave, keeping the ADU safe because of the freeze potential and slow of this build. Nothing gets there nearly as quick as it usually does, so very banging build. A triple 100s on it, very good for getting through that legendary, like I said, even easier in the normal version. So hopefully y'all have been enjoying these builds. They are very fun. I love Onslaught quite a bit. It is rewarding to get through that level 50. Obviously you can go through just farm level 10s if you want, but 50 just feels that much better. So again, I appreciate all you guys' support. If you would like, hit that bell and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the content that we post here, as well as it helps out the channel a bunch. But again, I appreciate all you guys for coming back. As always, I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.